Let's talk about the most expensive compliment you'll ever receive. It's not about your work. It's when someone calls you loyal. Because once that word is used, the system quietly applies a rule most people never learn how to reverse. Picture this, you're in a meeting. You turn to your boss and say, "Don't worry, I'll handle this. I've got your back." You feel a sense of purpose, of commitment. Here's what the system hears. It doesn't hear dedication. It hears a status update, a little ping that says employee relational dependency on node, boss increased, adjusting mobility score, updating factional tag database. Your moment of human loyalty isn't recorded as virtue, it's logged as data. And unless you know how that data is later reused, you won't understand why certain doors quietly disappear for you. Data that gets turned into a barcode that gets quietly stuck on your back, telling every scanner in the company exactly whose team you're on. Quick question, be honest. When you show strong loyalty at work, what's the real danger? A, your boss gives you too much work. B, your coworkers get jealous. C, the system permanently files you under person X's asset. Drop your letter below. By the end of this, you'll see why only one answer keeps your identity movable inside the system. We're told a beautiful story. Loyalty builds trust. Trust brings security. It's the corporate fairy tale. Warm, fuzzy, and almost completely wrong. The system doesn't run on fairy tales. It runs on risk assessment. And your loyalty isn't a character reference. It's a risk parameter. Let me show you how it works with a story from a Manhattan investment bank. We'll call him Michael. For 7 years, Michael was the right-hand man to the CEO, Charles. He stood by Charles in every boardroom fight. He got the best projects, the fast promotions. He was the definition of a loyal soldier. Then Charles retired. A new CEO, Eleanor, took over. Suddenly, Michael's brilliant new proposals kept hitting walls. He was confused. He was still talented, still capable. So what changed? A senior partner finally hinted at the truth. The new regime was analyzing historical networks. Michael's file showed an exceptionally high binding coefficient to the former CEO. His loyalty, his greatest asset, was now flagged in the system as a potential compatibility risk. He wasn't the brilliant Michael anymore. He was Charles's guy. And the new queen had her own court. His loyalty wasn't a shield, it was a tag. And here's what almost no one realizes. Once a tag like this is applied, the system stops asking whether you're talented. It only checks whether the tag still matches the current regime. And when the kingdom changed hands, the tag told the new rulers exactly who he had sworn his last oath to. Every time you do the loyalty dance, defending your boss publicly, avoiding other teams, saying, "I'm with you," you're not building credit, you're sending a very clear signal. The system's algorithm does two things with that signal. One, it lowers your mobility score. You're now seen as hard to move, psychologically glued to your current spot. Two, it updates your profile. You get moved from the general talent pool folder into a special subfolder. What the system never tells you is this: there is a third step, and that's the one almost no employee learns how to interrupt. Your heartfelt "I support you" is just you typing your own label into the company's filing system. And here's the cruel joke. The reward for loyalty often looks like protection. They give you the inside track, the confidential info, a safe corner office. But that safe house has a security system that broadcasts your identity 24/7. It whispers to every department head, every rival VP, occupant, member of Faction X. When times are stable, that's a VIP pass. But during a coup, a merger, A reorg, that signal flips. It becomes a homing beacon for the incoming audit. You're not in a safe house anymore. You're in a marked location. It's like being given the best lifeboat on the ship and then having it chained directly to the captain's quarters. Great view. Until the order comes to abandon ship and join a new fleet, your boat can't sail with the others. It's anchored to a sinking piece of history. If you've ever felt that a past alliance now fences you in, type trapped in the comments. This isn't modern management theory. It's ancient power software. A Chinese strategist named Han Feizi cracked this code 2,300 years ago. He wrote something that would get him fired from any HR department today. The ruler's calamity is trusting others. To trust is to be controlled. The brutal translation for the modern office: any smart system is built to distrust pure loyalty, because blind loyalty creates unmanageable power blocks, little kingdoms within the kingdom. The system doesn't want vassals. It wants reliable, replaceable parts. So when you parade your loyalty, you're not impressing the system. You're giving it a number it uses to calculate your political risk and your reorg cost. You're making yourself a complicated variable in their spreadsheet. Imagine your company has an org chart you never see. It's not made of names and titles. It's made of dots and lines. You are a dot. Your connections are lines. When you're just competent, you have many thin lines to many dots. When you become fiercely loyal, you don't make your dot bigger. If you're not sure whether your line is already too thick, stay with me. The final example will make it painfully obvious. You take one line, the line to your boss, and you make it thick, bold, unmissable. Soon, you're not a dot anymore. You're just a thick line attached to someone else's bigger dot. Your entire identity on the chart is connection to X. Your light is just a reflection. We saw it in Silicon Valley. A product VP was known as the founder's ultimate fixer. He was the loyal weapon. When the board changed and needed a more diplomatic leadership style, guess what? The loyal weapon was too sharp, too associated with the old way. He was sidelined. Not because he wasn't capable, but because his line was too thick to redraw. He was architecture from a previous version of the software, and the new system had compatibility issues. So back to that first question. The biggest risk of loyalty isn't overwork, A, or office jealousy, B. It's C, the permanent tag. You are literally volunteering to be placed in a box with someone else's name on it. And in corporate life, kingdoms fall and new kings arrive with new boxes. Now, your logical brain should be screaming, fine. If loyalty gets me branded, then I'll go the opposite direction. I'll be pure competence, no alliances, no politics, just raw, undeniable, useful skill. That's neutral. That's safe. They can't tag a tool, right? If I'm just too useful to lose, I'm untouchable. Oh, my friend, you have just walked from the branding iron into the smelter. Thinking that supreme competence is your shield is the most dangerous, seductive lie of all. It doesn't make you free. It makes you the most valuable and therefore most closely monitored piece of equipment in the factory. Our next video is The Competence Trap. Why being indispensable is a prison sentence. Because once loyalty brands you, competence is how the system decides whether to lock you in or put you on display. We'll tear apart the myth of the irreplaceable expert. You'll see how being the go-to person doesn't give you power. It gives the system a perfect reason to bolt you to the floor. Monitor your every output and make sure you can never ever leave your station. If loyalty brands you, competence mounts you on a pedestal in a glass case. from the brand of loyalty to the pedestal of competence. This is how you go from being a player with a team jersey to being a trophy in the company museum. The system loves when you swear loyalty. It just makes the tag it slaps on you that much easier to read. If you want to see how being the most useful person in the room becomes your own professional taxidermy, hit subscribe. The next lesson isn't about working hard. It's about the invisible cage they build around you when you work too well.